Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Redtail Technology continuing education. And today we are going to be talking about writing your ship, and that's effectively using note categories. It won't be that long of a webinar today, I assure you. We're going to keep it quick. We're going to keep it effective. My name is Jeremy. For anyone who attends our RTU, you'll know that I'm the presenter in the Whys section along with Nora Mirza. Well, let's go ahead and get this show underway. Thank you all for being here, and let's get going. So, number one, why? Why is this important? This is important largely because we need to take into consideration everything that we do in the past. And everything that we do is a note in the system. So any past event within Redtail is considered a note. That being the case, we need to be able to document them in a way that we can effectively manage our data. Now, to really know the effectiveness of notes and their categories, we also have to understand activity types as well, because they exist one-on-one with each other. And we're going to kind of review those. We've talked about those in the past, but we're just going to review basics around those as well. So where we're going to go to first talk about these is manage database list. So if I click on my name and click on manage your account right here, that's going to go ahead and send me over to admins only here at the bottom, manage database lists. And here I can go to the right-hand side. We should all be very familiar with the contacts area. What we're likely a little bit less familiar with is activities and notes right here. And let's talk about types first. So types are the point when we're adding an appointment. So if I come over here, it's the type of appointment that it is. So generally speaking, what I'm going to go ahead and say works as really solid examples for types. It's the medium in which the event is being had. So an activity type is usually something like a face-to-face appointment, or a phone call, or like an out-of-office meeting, or an in-office face-to-face. That way, you have things set up so that you know where it is that you're spending a lot of your time. And that's for activity reporting. Again, something we've covered in the past, but just knowing and understanding note categories largely hinges on activity types as well. So if we move back to where we were in regards to note categories, we scroll on down and we click on categories under activities and notes. Now here is where we're going to talk about putting value on this. Now the kinds of things that we like to put into categories are the business that is being attended to. So we want to take it into consideration here what we're talking about. We're going to say things like generally your category is going to be, a client review. Maybe it's in regards to insurance or a 401k. Maybe it's about client retention. Maybe this is a marketing campaign that you're doing. Maybe someone requested a fund transfer, or it's just as simple as someone confirming an appointment with a phone call. Okay, these are the things that we're taking into consideration right now. Whatever the note is about is how this is going to take effect. These categories also affect workflows too. Workflows, the categories that are based around workflows are the same ones that notes are based in. So if you're going to go ahead and if you're utilizing workflows, you have the opportunity to make sure that you have workflows based around specific tasks, and they can be marked as such. So those are the kinds of things that you're normally going to be adding. Now, you can come up here to the top where this new button is. That's where you're going to go ahead and create your new ones. The only ones that exist by default are the ones without the small little blue drop down here. So customer service, general information, and these are all very clearly highlighted when you're actually assigning the note category on creation of the note itself, as they are the system types. And then there are custom types that you can add in, which are anything with a blue drop down associated with it. Now, when creating these, it's very good to keep in mind that you want to have what is relevant and necessary. Having a lot of unnecessary categories is probably going to make life a little harder overall, because if you go back and you're trying to bring up data, historical data, and you have to include so many different categories, the likelihood of that data being super effective is very, very low unless you have a very neat and clean system revolving that sheer number. Now, considering the business can be a little crazy. Let's not get too crazy at first. Let's keep it very simple. Let's just create things that are going to be really, really helpful and relevant to start. Now, one of those best practices that we like to say is that it's a good idea, but only if you're going to stay on top of it. It's a good idea to have the term miscellaneous as a type or category that you're using, because you don't necessarily, in order to put down things that you're not sure where to put them. And that way you can take a look at all of the, probably like no more than once every couple, or no less than once a month or so is better yet. You're going in and taking a look at your miscellaneous events that you've added or categories that you've added, so that you can properly assign them and create new categories based off of what you're seeing and based off of what you're seeing. So that would be a very effective way to do it, but you have to be on top of it, because if you go in after like 6 months and then people just creating notes based off of miscellaneous, you might have 500 notes in there, and that'll never get repaired. So let's try to be more effective if you're going to do that. Now let's talk about note review. Within a contact record, let's just go into Indiana here. So if we go into a contact record, you click on the left-hand side, you're going to go into notes. Now, the first and foremost, the best thing about having your categories is you have category filters. You can check off the important categories and see them. Now, we don't have any of those for him, so let's just do account support. We can try client meeting notes. There we go. Let's just do customer service. There we go. So everything that's listed under customer service we're going to be able to find it right here. And you can select as many as you want. So that is the first most important aspect of having your category set, is that just from within the contact record, you can do a quick search and then find all of their notes that are tagged with the category of customer service. So if we're putting that into perspective, let's say that maybe we have a category associated with client cancels. So every time that they canceled an appointment, you are able to, in fact, see how many times over over how long you've known them, they've actually canceled appointments with you, so that you can revisit, the terms of your relationship with them. Something very important to keep in mind when it is that you're using these note categories is that there are plenty of outliers out there that a lot of people don't think of off the bat, because they're thinking of just everything that's business oriented. Now, that's pretty much it for categories and notes. The best thing that we could do outside of just being in a contact record is if we go down and we head into reports. Now, in reports, we go down to our note reports. Potentially my favorite report that exists outside of the activity report. If I come over here, number one, I have the ability to come to the right, and I have a start date and end date. So we've all seen this before, probably. These are your note filters. These are for reports. So again, start and end date. So maybe I want to review everything I've done over a quarter, over a year, over 2 years. It's up to you as to how far you want to take it, as long as you've had the CRM that long at least. But you have the ability to choose a custom date. And then we come down, of course, you have your note text and whatnot, but here at the bottom, we have the ability to find our categories, our users. So that way, if I'm checking off a specific category and also a specific user for a specific time range, I'm narrowing things down so that I can check my own performance or someone else's performance based around whether the people are actually using the categories that we've created appropriately. And then having everything categorically organized, okay? Having this organization turns all of your historic data into actual numbers. How many notes were added in regards to this over the course of a quarter? If I can identify that, I can go ahead and compare that against other quarters and see where my business is trending towards in terms of the most effective notes that I'm adding, in terms of the most time spent doing the most effective measures within my CRM. Because again, every past moment is and should be a note. And that is the true value behind this report, this ability within the CRM, is that if you're notating everything with some kind of category, then it becomes spreadsheet data eventually. And spreadsheet data is the closest language that we have to directly creating incredible plans for moving forward. That's why this is titled Righting Your Ship, because having a very clear eye on everything you do in the past is what's going to let you move forward clearly. You don't want to be the Titanic. You don't want to hit that iceberg. You want to go straight across the Atlantic without any issues at all. So that is, again, the most important aspect as far as note categories are concerned. You're organizing your data so that you can look at it in a historical perspective with a numbers platform. And really, guys, that is everything involving note categories and a lot of best practices around them. If you want to go ahead and set up an appointment with us, just let us know. Training would always be more than happy to sit down with you and really, hammer things out. And if you have some ideas what you want to do, we can go ahead and bounce ideas off each other. We're more than happy to do that. And if you do have questions beyond that, technical questions that this webinar isn't answering, you can always reach out to our support department, 800-206-5030. Please reach out to us. We are more than happy to help you along the way. And if you need training will go ahead and back you up. Otherwise, thank you so much for being part of the Redtail family, and have a great day.